Welcome to another episode of Life, Biz and All That Jazz. I'm your host, Jasmine Lisciotto. Before we get started, if you haven't already, make sure you've hit the subscribe button so you never miss an episode. Today, we are diving into the power of rewiring your mind. We'll explore positive thinking, how it can gradually reshape your thoughts, and the impact it can have on your life. I'll also be covering a few coping mechanisms for negative thinking and practical ways to take control of those thoughts. This episode is about how the small daily practices of positive thinking can create a ripple effect, slowly transforming your entire outlook on life. If you want to make the change and create positive thinking habits, this episode is for you. I want you to have a think about this for a second. Imagine starting your day with a calm mind, full of intentional positive thoughts. The alarm goes off, and instead of looking straight at your phone or dreading the busy day ahead, you take a deep breath and think, today is a new day, a new opportunity for growth. I am grateful for the lessons I'll learn. You move through your morning routine with a sense of purpose. Maybe there's a setback like spilling your cup of coffee or tea, or you face some traffic on your way to work. But because you've set a positive tone, you're able to handle it. You allow yourself to pause, remind yourself that small inconveniences don't define your day, and move forward. Now picture the flip side to this scenario. You wake up overwhelmed, your mind swirling with negative thoughts. You start scrolling on your phone first thing before your body has a chance to even know you're awake. You tell yourself, I'm so tired and today's going to be so busy and awful, or you see something negative on your social feed. Those thoughts set the stage for a stressful day. Every inconvenience, every mistake feels bigger than it is. Traffic becomes unbearable and you feel drained before the day has even started. Your energy is spent reacting to everything around you and your mind feels really heavy. See, the thing is, negative thoughts are always going to be there. They're going to come and go. That's just part of being human. But what matters most is how you respond to those thoughts. Do you let them control your day? Or do you take action and shift your mindset? The power lies in choosing what you do next. If you look for the negative in a situation, you're always going to find something negative. This is the same as if you look for something positive in a situation. You will find something positive no matter what the situation is. It may be a little bit harder to dig a little bit deeper to find it, but it will be there. Once you've learnt to look through life and certain situations in a positive lens, it becomes easier and easier. If you're new here, welcome. I hope you love neuroscience and data-backed facts just as much as I do. But if you're an OG, I know you'll love what I've got for you today. So what do I have for you today? Dr. Barbara Fredrickson from the University of North Carolina has done some groundbreaking research on something that's called the broaden and build theory. Her study shows how positive thinking can actually broaden our perception of possibilities. Positive emotions open up our minds, help us see more options, and over time, we build resilience by strengthening our ability to tackle challenges. But on the flip side, negative thinking does the opposite. According to research published in the Journal of Neuroscience, negative thoughts activate the amygdala, which is the fear center of our brain. This puts us in survival mode, narrowing our focus and reinforcing a hardwired pattern that, if we constantly repeat, keeps us stuck and thinking negative. Something I found really interesting was the fact that our brains are built already with a negativity bias. Through evolution, the negativity bias kept our ancestors safe, making sure that they paid attention to dangers like predators and poisonous plants. But fast forward to now, where we are today, our brains are still the same and still give more weight to the negative in a situation. But there is hope. Neuroscientists have found that we can retrain our brains, and I constantly talk about rewiring our brains and how we can do that through practices and constant repetitive tasks and thought patterns. We can really counteract this negativity bias through gratitude and practicing it daily, which will eventually help rewire our brains, forming a stronger neural pathway, and that's going to make it easy for us to focus on the positive. It's really like strengthening a muscle. You go to the gym, you get stronger and stronger. This is the same thing we can do do to our brain. There was another really cool study which was at the University of California, and it involved participants keeping weekly gratitude journals, and they wrote things down that they were grateful for every single day. These participants reported to have a higher level of alertness, enthusiasm, and energy compared to those who didn't have the journal. This is why I like to practice journaling every morning and evening, and just being grateful every day of what I have. Even though our brains might be wired to focus on the negative, we do have the power to flip the script and create positive pathways. It's not about thinking that everything is perfect, because more than likely it's not. It's just about being intentional with gratitude and to make the good things stand out. To explain this a little bit further, I want you to think about a cup of clean water. If you're constantly putting dirt in that cup of water, it's going to constantly get dirtier and dirtier and dirtier. So once you've got a cup and it's full of dirt, it's dirty, muddy water. If you put clean water in the same cup, over time, the dirty water will overflow and the cup of water will become clean again. This is the same as your positive thoughts. The more you can put positive thoughts into your brain, the more it will clear out the negative thoughts. Sometimes negative thoughts are still going to come back. It will be a little bit easier for you to control them and switch to thinking positive, because your mind is going to become more resilient and they will be easier to handle. Positive thinking doesn't mean that you are avoiding the hard things. It really just means that you see them in a different light. Instead of thinking, why is this happening to me? Why do all bad things always happen to me? Have a look at it in a way that you can think of, like, what is this teaching me? What lesson can I learn from this? That little shift really transforms the challenge into an opportunity. What's really important is acknowledging that the hard times shape us. We may be hurt from them, but they really do build our resilience. For me, I know what I've been through with my dad. The situation is very traumatic, and losing him changed our lives forever. But I've learned to look at that in a situation where I can take everything positive that my dad taught me, share it with other people, and continuously try to be better myself. I guess you could be thinking, so how do I acknowledge the hard times and still find gratitude? Everyone's going to be in different stages of their lives, and sometimes you might be in a situation where you can't see any hope in sight. Positive thinking might just feel so far out of reach that you're just trying to really get through the day. And we all have our dark days. Sometimes it's going to be okay just to sit there and really feel those feelings. It's not about toxic positivity and thinking that there needs to be positivity in everything, because that's not sustainable. We are always going to have days where we need to just sit down and have a cry, or, really reflect on where we are in life or a situation that we might be dealing with. There's going to be parts of life that are going to be really, really hard. It's when you can grab onto the good. That's when things seem worth it. It's really about looking at the obstacles that you've faced and how they've shaped you into who you are today. They've made you stronger, more resilient, and wiser. Looking back and thinking that you wouldn't be where you are today without that experience. The challenges you've been through have molded you into the amazing person you are today. I'm all about providing solutions and practices that you can implement. So I have a little list of something that you can use in the morning or in the evening, whatever works for you. But pretty much it will help you start to shift your mindset, rewire those thought patterns to embrace positive thinking. So the first thing to do is to really just start your day with gratitude. It's as simple as writing down 3 things that you're grateful for, and this really sets the positive tone for the day. Number 2, reframe any negative thoughts. When you have a negative thought or you feel down about something, think about the thought, sit in it for a second and ask yourself, how can I see this differently? What can I do differently so I can look at this in a different perspective? And it's not going to be easy, but it will become a habit the more and more you do it. Tip number 3, surround yourself with positivity. And this goes with people, energy, habits, lifestyle. As much positivity as you can have around you, it's really going to help you embrace that lifestyle. Tip number 4 is celebrate the small wins. celebrate weekly the small wins that you have, even daily. If you're really struggling, every day just be grateful and celebrate one little thing that you achieved. If you achieved one thing off the list that you had to do, celebrate that. And even if you didn't, if you got up and went for a walk, like, it doesn't matter what it is, but it's all about just celebrating anything positive that you do and looking back and reflecting on anything negative. Remember, this is a journey. It's not about perfection, but about making small, consistent changes that add up over time. And that's a wrap for episode 8. Thank you for joining me on this episode of Life, Biz, and all that jazz. I hope today's chat gives you the tools and inspiration you need to build more positive thoughts and mindset. If you've enjoyed this episode, I really appreciate if you could leave a review. This helps us organically and reach people that may want to hear it. And don't forget that your mindset shapes your reality, and you have the power to create a life that you truly love. So keep focusing on the small positive steps every day. It's all about progress, not perfection. Until next week, have a great week.